Hi everyone, and welcome to OurVentura TV. I'm Sandra Siepak. On today's show, we'd like to welcome Mr. Eric Knight. He is the Senior Community Development Manager for the American Cancer Society, and also Mr. John Cortes. He is the Volunteer Chair for Western Community Leadership Council for the American Cancer Society. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you, Sandra, for having us.
We are very excited to hear more about the American Cancer Society and all that you're doing here in Ventura County. And Eric, let's start with you. If you could give us a little bit of information about what you're doing lately.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started with the American Cancer Society a little over 3 years ago, managing events, and I've transitioned from that now into new business income development for the area. So that's a broad spectrum of things, including new sponsorships, community engagement, community partners, income generating teams for our events. Basically anything that's going to be a revenue stream for the American Cancer Society and shine a light on the programs and services
which
that
is
we're
a very
providing.
Important aspect of the program.
Very important. You know,
Very
I mean, when you're dealing in anything in the nonprofit sector, you have these really important pillars that don't necessarily exist in the private sector in the same way. And it also, introduces some really great, fun, creative ways to be engaged in the community.
Good. And John, tell us about what you do as well.
Great, thank you. My role as the Community Leadership Council Chair is to manage the leadership and the talent that we have on our Community Leadership Council, essentially the board. We know that American Cancer Society is a national organization and it is committed to research through fundraising, but also through education awareness. And what a lot of people don't necessarily know is that we have a number of programs out there that, unfortunately, when folks are diagnosed with cancer, they are a little confused, of course, naturally so.
Sure.
And they don't necessarily know where to go for services. Aside from their primary care oncologist, we do offer a number of programs, which we can talk a little bit about in the show. But essentially, we have a lot of talent, a lot of resources here locally in Ventura County, CEOs, executives, folks who are very connected with the community that can offer those resources.
And to both of you, how does the American Cancer Society reflect here in the community of Ventura County and what you're doing for those folks that live out here or who have businesses out here? How does that all come to be? Yeah,
thank you for asking that, because it's something that makes the American Cancer Society sort of unique in all of the communities we're in across the country. We really make it a priority to reflect the communities that we're serving and the communities that we are, engaging volunteer help in, and that is how it's reflected. Really, we are volunteer run and staff supported. So as a staff partner for the American Cancer Society, my job really is to work with all the volunteer committees, whether it's working with Community Leadership Council or a volunteer committee that's running a Relay for Life or a Making Strides event, and say, bring your personality to this. Really reflect the community in this. The values are yours. The personality of this community is yours. The value identity is yours. And so we really, really try to cultivate that in everything we're doing with the volunteers. That also includes how our programs and services are delivered. Take, for instance, Road to Recovery, which we can get into a little bit more, but basically, we're talking about free rides for cancer patients to their treatments, and these are local volunteers taking them there. So we really do make it a priority to make sure that the community is reflected in both the volunteer presence and the programs and services that we're delivering.
Right. Good. I think, you mentioned a point that American Cancer Society is nationwide, worldwide. So to be a part of the community on a personal level, I think people really like that. They like to know there's somewhere they can go to get personalized information where they live, where they are actually being treated. Can you talk about that a little bit, John?
Absolutely. So we do have a website, of course, AmericanCancerSociety.org.
Right.
And we also have a 1-800 number, which our folks, our community, our volunteers potentially could call for resources. This could be survivors, this could be caregivers, these could be folks in the community who want to donate their time, their talent, their money.
Right.
So that is a wonderful, wonderful resource that I don't think we really market enough, or maybe people just aren't ready to hear that it exists. I think if they get onto the website and they start to maneuver around, they'll be very impressed with the services that are offered, the volunteer opportunities that are offered, the educational opportunities that are there, and also some of the resources that they can participate in locally here at home.
For those viewers, Eric, who may not know a lot about what you specifically do at the American Cancer Society, can you just give us a little bit of an inside look as some of the things that you do for people?
Yeah, thank you. This is one of the things that I make a priority of communicating when I'm out and about. Obviously, you know, my main job is to make sure that we're creating revenue to support our programs and services and the mission, you know, to lead the fight for a world without cancer. When I'm out there, I lead with what we are doing and what we are delivering.
Okay.
And there are people who don't know that what I just mentioned, for instance, is that we have Road to Recovery, which is free ride to treatment for cancer patients. We have free hotel lodging nights. Right here in Ventura, we're blessed with hotel partners. I think we have 7 hotels. 7 hotel partners. We have a wig bank on Knoll Drive, free wigs and these are you know, wigs that come with a partnerships on a national level. These are really great quality, either synthetic or natural hair wigs. We have our 800 number, as John said, 800-227-2345, available to anybody 24/7. Cancer.org. In some communities, there are nurse navigators, patient navigator services. So, you know, we have all those local programs and services. And then, of course, on the other side, we have the research. And this is where we have funded research grants that have resulted in 47 Nobel Prizes over the years. Right. So we are the leading non-governmental funder of research grants for cancer. So those are the couple things I lead with. You know, people. I say that to people. Keep that 800 number. It should be the first call that anybody makes when someone's diagnosed or a loved one is diagnosed, and know that we have those rides, those hotel lodging nights, and the wig bank, things like that.
Which is extremely important to so many people out there. To even just to get a ride to and from treatment means so much to those that are, you know, in need. So that is a good thing. Tell us about some of the most rewarding things.
Yeah, I can speak to that. Again, every single person that has had their lives touched or affected by cancer, as a survivor, as a caregiver, as a volunteer, I'll have a personal story. And fortunately for me, I have not gone down that road, but I do have family members who have, and I've supported them. I've seen that 30,000 foot stare where they're just confused. They have no idea where to go, what to do. And this is my family. And fortunately, even though I sit on the board for the American Cancer Society, I am able to steer them in the right direction. Unfortunately, there's a lot of faces out there of folks who do this and they go about this alone, and they don't need to. And to Eric's point, they don't need to deal with cancer by themselves. We are a resource, we're available, we will welcome them with open arms, we will hold their hand through the treatment, we will get them to treatment. But some of the rewarding experiences are seeing those faces of adults and children linked with services, and then they realize, you see a light bulb go on and it's, okay, I can do this. My life isn't over. I can get through this treatment, and this is one less worry I have to deal with, whether it's a child who is sitting in an oncology unit playing a PlayStation 3 and giving the nurse his arm, just kind of like, leave me alone, just let me get through this. And those are the faces and the smiles. Even though it's cancer, they are troopers. The children are the troopers. The adults look at that and they say, if a child can get through this, I can get through this. It's about knowing where the resources are and being open to allowing us to walk the journey with them.
I'd love to speak to that as well. You know, when it comes to rewarding things for me as a staff partner for the American Cancer Society, it's fluid. It's always these two things. It's the volunteer support. I mean, there is nothing you can compare that experience to, of being a staff partner for the American Cancer Society and having that heart and soul and passion and fire that is behind, the driving force behind our volunteers. It's really rewarding, and I'm honored to be a part of that process. And additionally, then there is working with the people that I meet, either someone who has been through a cancer journey or is currently going through it or is a caregiver. These are the most inspiring people and the most inspiring stories I've ever heard in my life, and anything leading up to this job with the American Cancer Society. I take so much from those stories and those friendships and those relationships that have come from this experience, that it's, you know, I'll use that word again, and I don't use it lightly, but I'm honored to be a part of that journey with those people.
And I think so many people take so much away from being a part of the American Cancer Society, and so many of the things that you offer people. There is hope. There is so much hope for people, and I think that isn't taken lightly.
Absolutely,
really benefit from
absolutely, and that's the solidarity. And John was the event chair for the Relay for Life in 2017, and I was honored and thrilled to have him leading that event. And so we've seen it side by side, John and I. When volunteers come together, there's something just really intangible about that collective hope.
And I think that brings up a great point. Volunteers really are a big part of this organization. They really are the heart and soul behind it. That really makes a big difference. If someone is interested in volunteering here in Ventura County, how do they get involved? Is there an age limit? Can teens be a part of the program? Seniors? Let's talk about that.
Again, they can log onto the website.
Okay.
It's a great resource to figure out what particularly interests them, whether it's a caregiver, whether it's a road recovery driver.
Sure.
We'll take you, no matter how young you are, how old you are. Of course, you do have to. We do have youth volunteer opportunities.
That's good.
But as an adult over the age of 18, if you have a driver's license, we would welcome you as a road to recovery driver. We have Making Strides Against Breast Cancer, an annual event, very well participated here in Ventura, here at the beach, right here at the Ventura Beach Park. We have Relay for Life, which is an annual event, and they're taking place in every community in Ventura County.
Okay.
These are events that people have been doing either for quite a long time or they're new to it.
Right.
But to your point, to see the faces come together, even if it's just manning a table, signing in a participant, there's going to be a takeaway, and the takeaway is the personal story. It's the personal connection, and that's what the draw is, because that's what keeps volunteers volunteering for years to come.
And I think that's the best part about it, is it brings so many people together.
It does.
Yeah.
And even in the face of dealing with something like this, a cancer diagnosis, you can bring so many people together to help and to make a difference for that person. And they never forget that.
That's right.
They never forget that.
That's
and
right.
I think that's really crucial to treatment as well as medical treatment.
Absolutely.
Is the emotional treatment that you have.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up. Crucial to treatment, crucial to the journey and the recovery, and for the caregivers and the survivors, and the volunteers alike. And to follow a little bit on the volunteerism side, we really want to stress to everybody who's interested in volunteering, we sort of back into what the volunteer has to offer. As far as time, as far as resources, as far as is this someone who wants to volunteer for a committee over the course of a whole event season, or is this somebody who wants to come on the day and work the registration table? So it's all over the place. And John's right.
There's a place for everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everybody's
we'll
going to
find
have a
you
place.
something.
Yeah, and there again, the 800 number, 800-227-2345 is a number they can call and say, hey, I want to volunteer in my community, and they go through the whole process and find what's best.
I did want to cover the funding and donations for the American Cancer Society. I think it's very crucial to the growth and the participation of so many people. So if you can touch on that really quick, how the funding and donations do make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I sort of was into it earlier. The way I see it in my head is there are these buckets of local programs and services, and there's research. As far as how that's divvied out, that is on a larger picture, a board issue, as well as a higher level regional and national level decisions are made. As far as what research grants are getting funded, how much of every dollar is going to research, how much of every dollar is going to local programs and services. Sort of it all depends on demographics, per capita needs. Those things are all very closely tracked. John probably knows the numbers better than I do as far as those things. But these are decisions that are made by groups of experts. There's no one person saying this much money goes here and this much money goes here, and it's all informed by the needs of a geographic area.
If you can share with us one more time the website for people to go to and take a look here in Ventura County.
Absolutely. The website is cancer.org, and that phone number again is 800-227-2345.
Great. I want to thank you both for joining us on the show today and telling us so many good things about what the American Cancer Society is doing It's phenomenal.
Thank you
And
so much
we
for
really
having
appreciate
us.
your time and effort in the organization. So thank you, Eric Knight and John
Very
Cortes,
good.
for being on the program today.
Thanks for having us.
Great.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for joining us on the show today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everyone.